The world is going into a recession right now. The market is going crazy. S&P 500 is down 15% from all-time high. Nasdaq is down at least 25% from all-time high. Many tech growth stocks, even cryptos, are down 50%, even 70 and 80% from all-time high. I personally lost over 7 figures in paper value in just the last few days. It is certainly not fun in these uncertain times. But in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what I'm doing and hopefully give you some direction of what you could be doing in this period. Hey everyone, it's Gabriel here and welcome back to my channel. So the market has been very irrational and it's definitely not fun during this period of time, but I'm certainly not panic selling. In fact, nothing is going to be changing for me. And here's why. See, although in the short term, the market can be very irrational, the good news is that if you zoom out and look at it from a big picture perspective, a long-term perspective, it has always been going up. Especially so if you invest in companies with strong fundamentals. One of my biggest holdings is Tesla. And I mean, seriously, have you been seeing Tesla's recent or the latest Tesla earnings report? Revenue is beating expectation. Earnings per share was 50% higher than expectation. And there are record margins reported. Amazing growth with upcoming full self-driving and Optimus bot potentially disrupting the entire labor market. Yet it is down close to 40% from all-time high. It is irrational right now. Now it is down because of the overall market sentiments and of course a lot of macro factors. But it is not a question of if, but when it will recover. And again, if we zoom out and look at it from a longer term perspective, it is probably going to recover and reach another all-time high. The only question is when. So as long as I don't panic sell, there is a chance that this whole thing will recover. Now, the longest recession recorded in the United States was about 3.6 years. And that was during the Great Depression in 1929. Now, the longest recession recorded was actually 18 months during the 2007 housing bubble crisis. The point is, even if we are going to enter a recession, the longest recorded recession was about 3.5 years. It is going to pass. It shall pass. It is going to be a waiting game. So there's no need to panic if you're not selling because the market can always recover and you can always benefit from the recovery. The question is, why do people panic? And here are a few reasons. And you might likely be panicking because of these reasons. Number one, over leveraged. Now, if you use margin, right, you use debt, right, you incur debt and you are in the market right now, the market is down. You are most certainly going to panic because you might get a margin call. And if you don't have cash set aside for the margin call, you will be forced to sell and you will not be able to benefit when the market recover. So one of the biggest reason why people are panicking right now is because when the market was going up, right, it's like a drug, right? It goes up. Everyone thinks that it's gonna go up forever, and everyone's high, right? Everyone is high, and people started going on margin. People started taking on debts because they think that it can always go higher, and not forgetting that there will be short-term moves like that. There will be short-term volatility where the market is going to fall. And so if you have used margin, chances are you might get a margin call. Chances are if you do not have cash set aside for those margin calls, you will be forced to sell and therefore actualize all the losses because of the short-term drop in the market. If you are in this position right now, honestly, there's no point crying over it. Accept the loss, learn this lesson to never use margin again unless you really know what you're doing. Okay, for most people, even myself included, most of the time I don't know what's going on and therefore I don't recommend using margins. If you are not using margins, if you're not in, over leverage, you will likely be safe. The whole idea is that right now it's just an emotional game that we have to get through. And this is the second point of why people are panicking. So the second one is that they saw investing as a get-rich-quick scheme, and many of them actually gave up their active income in pursuit of, making investing as their main income because it is the quick and easy way. And so now in a bear market, and even if it takes a few years to recover, they have no idea what they're going to do because they have lost their active income or they have lost their competitiveness. If you run a business, right? I've seen so many business owners when the market is in a bull run, whether it's a crypto, whether it's a stock market, right? They have a business, that's the bread and butter, and they gave up the bread and butter and they went to put all their focus on investment. I wouldn't say that's good or bad. It really depends on your situation. But for most people that I know, right, they give up something that's certain for something that gets them rich quick. And the problem with that is that when it enters into a bear market like what we are experiencing right now, honestly, I do not know whether are we officially in a bear market or not. All I'm saying is that I'm planning for the worst case scenario if it does, right? Looking at the macro, all the macro factors right now with all the wars and recession and inflation. I don't know, right? Even if we were to enter, I'm just preparing for the worst. Even if we enter into a 3 years bear market, 4 years, to recover. During this period, it doesn't really concern me because I'm still going to work on my bread and butter, my business, and my business is still bringing in a very good active income. The problem is when people gave up their active income. They lose the competitiveness because they spend so much time focusing on investment. And now that we are in the bear market, and then they come back to their business, they lost competitive advantage because their competitors has been working on their business while they are getting distracted with something else. Does it make sense? See, I know that when I first learned investing, a lot of people want to go into investing because it's like the easy way, right? You don't have to deal with people, you don't have to manage people, you don't have to manage customers, and it seems like the dream, right? And when I first discovered about the world of investing and trading and the financial markets, there were a lot of people selling courses, selling me a dream that I can make passive income, I can get rich quick overnight. Again, like the best part about investing is that I don't have to deal with people, right? Which is one of the hardest things to do when you are in the marketplace, when you run a business. Okay, so it is definitely a dream, and you hear about people, they are able to turn $1,000 into $700,000 in a short few years, or they are able to turn $10,000 in capital to multi-seven figures and all that stuff. Now, you see, a lot of times they only tell you the end result, but they didn't show you the process, and we never know that they might be using leverage. Okay, we don't know. The truth is that in a bear market like that, can that kind of result sustain? And so the other thing is that I also realized that I'm not smart, right? I'm not smart like most people. I think maybe there are some smart people that are able to turn $10,000 into multi-seven figures in a short-term period of time. But over the years, I've come to accept that there's no such thing for me. It is true, some people might achieve it, but it is as rare as winning a lottery. So I'm not going to base my life off someone winning a lottery. Right? It is likely not going to happen to me. Instead, I'd rather focus on what I can control, which is my mindset of how I'm going to invest. I've learned to accept that when I invest, and something that's certain is that I want to invest for the long term. When I mean long term, when I buy something, I'm going to hold it for 10 years or even more, even not selling the company unless the fundamental change. Which means when I invest, the market is going to go up and down in cycles. Over the next 1-2 years, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. The first time I invested in Tesla, it fell 50%. It wasn't fun, right? And of course, I panic sold. And that was the reason why I missed out on the biggest gain, which was another 10x return. If all I did was I held on, but I didn't, right? Because I panic sold. Of course, I learned my lesson. And then again, I bought Tesla a couple of years back. It fell about 40%, I think, from all-time high back then again when I bought in the second time. But this time I've learned my lesson and I held on to it. And it has went up at least 5 to 6 times since the period that I bought. And so my lesson again is that there's going to be up and down in 1 or 2 years, right? It may not be Tesla. I'm just talking about overall market, that there will be volatility in the short term, right? It's going to go up, it's going to go down in 1 or 2 years. But it shouldn't even affect me because if I'm going to hold for 10 years, then the short term price movement should not affect me at all because I'm not going to sell anyway. So why does it matter? And majority of my time is spent building on my business. Again, this is my main source or biggest source of income. I'm in a wealth accumulation stage right now. When you're young, you're in a wealth accumulation stage. Stop trying to look for passive income. It is nonsense, right? It doesn't exist. Okay, the whole dream of like investing and making a full-time living is very rare that's going to happen, especially if you want to accumulate a lot of wealth in your youth, in your early days. You see, even people who invest full-time for a living, they don't invest full-time for a living. Perhaps they are managing a fund. Even hedge fund managers, they are managing a business, right? They are managing people's money and they are getting a fees out of it. That's a business. That's not investing. And I know a lot of people who do investment full-time, but they don't actually do investment full-time. They also have a side gig where they are teaching investment, they are selling courses, and a lot of times they are making more money, active income through selling courses than the actual investment they are making. In fact, a lot of times, the reason why they are making good investment money is because they sell courses, they take the money they have made from those courses and they invest it. And that's the reason why they're getting so high returns. It's mainly because they still have an active arm, they have an active income, active source of income that's coming in. Don't be stupid, right? Don't give up on something that's certain, which is your business, for something, especially during the bull run, right? I've seen so many people, they give up their bread and butter, they abandon their business that is generating them, a very boring but decent cash flow coming in. And you see, again, I understand why they do that, right? Because as a business owner, so many things for us to handle, right? So many pains, so many things, people problems, there's customers problem, there's product issues, there's fulfillment, there's logistic, there's so many things. And sometimes the dream is just, hey, I just put in the stock market and I'm going to get a 10x return. It's so much easier for me than to build a business. But let's just face the truth. Building a business, you are in control. You are not in control of the stock market. And so giving something up that is certain, right? I've seen people who, their business is giving them maybe a very decent 5-figure income a month, but they give it up because NFTs or crypto is able to give them a 10x return, 100x return. Now, again, all these are awesome when it's in a bull market, when it's in a bull run. But the problem is that they gave up their business. They went almost full time into investing. And so they got distracted. They lose competitiveness in their business because they're no longer paying attention on it. They're no longer innovating in their business. They're no longer upgrading themselves. And then now we enter into something like a bear market, right? Where everything is down. There's going to be the waiting game, the 2-3 years. And so in the 2-3 years, people panic because now they have lost both market, right? They have lost the investment market because now they have to wait another few years for the market to recover. Now, again, I'm not saying that the market is going to take a few years to recover. We do not know. I'm just planning for worst case scenario, right? But what I'm saying is that if the market does take 3 years, 4 years to recover, now they have lost this source of income. And because they have gotten distracted, they have also lost their business source of income. And so now they are stuck with no income because they give up their bread and butter. So this is going to be a waiting game. And right now in this waiting game, the best part is to just work on your business. The stock market is not going to affect my business. I'm still getting paid doing what I'm doing because I have been continuously upgrading my skill set in marketing, in copywriting, right? In the things I'm doing. And I'm charging more money right now with more customers despite recession that is coming. And my investment is just going to sit there. It's just going to wait for the market recovery. It's not going to affect my business. In fact, once again, I think recession is also a great time, personally for me, to not get distracted by what's going on in the stock and crypto market, right? Because when there's a bull run, there's a lot of noise, right? There's a lot of noise of people making 10x, people making 100x. And you tend to feel like you have this FOMO where you do not want to miss out, right? And so it can be very distracting when you hear someone flip an NFT for 100x and now you want to take attention away from your business and go and study NFT. Again, I think that's not a smart move to do unless you are really filthy rich, or unless your business can incorporate or can compound with all the knowledge that you have learned from NFT. But yeah, like right now, market is down. It's not affecting me, and I think it's a great time for me to focus fully 100% on my business without any kind of distraction, because now is the time that I do not want to check what's in the stock market, right? Because it's not a pretty sight, right? I do not want to check my broker account because it's all red right now. And I think, again, that's a good thing because now I can just focus fully on my business and not get distracted. And that's for you right now. Focus on upgrading yourself, improving yourself, especially if you run a business. Most of my audience watching this channel, they run a business. And so, don't lose that competitiveness, right? This is a lesson again, that market is going to go up and down. The next time the market goes up, don't get distracted. Focus on building your business so that even when the market goes down, you don't lose that bread and butter. And now is a good time to not get distracted by what's going on and just focus on building your business right now. The third reason is definitely trying to time the market. That's one of the reasons why people are panicking right now. And I know, right? It is always a temptation, hoping to sell right now so that in hope that the market goes lower and then we can buy it back at a lower price again. But you see, the problem is that we all know how that's going to end. No one knows exactly when the market is going to bottom. And I've seen so many times people try to sell. No one knows when it's the bottom, no one knows when it's the top, right? Some people might get it, right? But again, majority of us, including myself, I don't think I'm smart enough to know all that. And I think 99% of people in the market have no idea what they're doing. And so, even Warren Buffett doesn't know when's the bottom of the market. So I don't know, why should we try to be smart? And I think my point is, I've seen so many scenarios play out where people try to time the market, they try to sell and hoping to buy at a lower price, but they do not know when the market is going to bottom. And then I've seen the market recover higher than where they sold. And now they feel like they have lost out because they have sold at a lower price and they do not want to buy in, hoping the market goes down. But the market doesn't go down, the market just continues to recover. And they miss the boat because they were trying to time the market. Same thing can be said for the reverse. When the market is all-time high, they try to time the top. And when they sell, it goes higher, they missed out on the right up. So my point is that, people always want to try to time the market, but there's this old investment advice you probably heard before, that timing the market, all right, it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market that counts. And this has been proven true over and over again for the past few decades, that it's more important to stay in the market than trying to time the market. Because no one knows when's the top, no one knows when's the bottom. And again, there's this famous article on how even God couldn't beat dollar cost average. I will put the link in the description, so please go ahead and read that. Okay, that article changed my life and it changed the way I think about investing. So today, I don't really care about the market price. I see a stock or crypto that I believe in, and every month I set aside a certain amount of money and I just buy. It's called dollar cost averaging. And I don't care about the price. If it's going up, I dollar cost average up. Going down, I dollar cost average down. Again, I'm not in leverage. I'm not overextending myself. So I honestly don't care what's the short-term price point. Even though you might have heard of this before, right? The funny thing is that this is something that everyone is saying. Almost every smart investor knows this about not timing the market and to stay in the market. But why do people still try to time the market all the time? Then I remember this, that even though everyone knows today that when you gamble, when you go to a casino and gamble, the odds is rigged against you. There's no casino in the world that allows you a fair chance, right? When you gamble at a blackjack table, it is never 50-50. You're paid 1 to 2, but the odds is not 50-50. The odds is always against you. Maybe the house has a 1% edge, 51, and you have a 49%. So if the more you play, okay, the longer time you play in a casino, the odds is stacked against you. We all know it's a losing game. in the market, when we're trying to time the market, it's exactly like that, right? It's a losing game. So why do people know that going to a casino is a losing game, yet we still go for it? And the answer, I think, is because in a casino, it is fun, it is exciting, it is emotional. It's not logical. And a mentor of mine once told me when I first learned about investing is that when you invest in the stock market is a place where you make boring money. If you want excitement, go and do some skydive. That advice has been stuck in my head for the longest time. Of course, I didn't listen to it at the beginning. I still try to time the market, right? We all go through that phase. But I reached a point, in my life today that I no longer try to time the market. The example that you just said, right? That investing in the stock market, the real way to invest in the stock market is making boring money. See, dollar cost average is boring. I just set aside money every month and I just buy into the stock. It's a system I've set up, right? Every month my income comes in, I will set a percentage and I'll buy a stock. Anytime I get a dividend, right? A huge payout, I will set aside the money and I'll buy the stock. It doesn't matter when, as long as money comes in, I buy. And that's just dollar cost average. Super boring. But I know that if I check my account again, now, like, do your own research. You gotta make sure you have conviction in what you're buying. But I know that this is super boring. But if I do this for the next 5 years, the next 10 years, it's likely not going to go wrong. Because again, the market goes up usually on a longer term perspective. Again, I buy in every single month, regardless of price. It's super boring, but it has been proven to work long term. So this is the 3 reasons. Number 1, over leverage. Number 2, people have given up their full-time income or they have gotten distracted in the bull market. And number 3 is trying to time the market. And so I hope that this video can give you some peace in the midst of the storm. And that's what I'm doing. I'm actually basically doing nothing, just still focusing on building a business and still dollar cost averaging into what I believe in. So the storm might come. In fact, I think the storm is already here, but it will pass. It's now a waiting game. So focus on your bread and butter. Don't over leverage and stop trying to time the market. Lastly, I also think that this is a good time. Stop checking the stock market every single day. This is the time that we go out for a walk. Take time out with your family. Take time out with the people you love. They are always there for you. You can always spend time with them. You don't have to keep looking at the stock market, thinking about what you do not have or what you have lost. Focus on what you already have, right? Be grateful for that. Go for, if the market is down right now and you don't have a lot of money, go for a walk or a picnic, right? It doesn't cost a lot of money to do that, and appreciate what you have right now. I personally think that gratitude is the antidote to fear. And right now, the market is very fearful, and this is the time for us to be grateful. So that's all I have for you today. If you have learned and gained something from this video, I really appreciate the thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, as this will help this channel out greatly. And let me know what is your biggest takeaway in the comment section below. I'll be reading every single one of them. So that's all I have for you today. Bye for now.